Hello, good morning. Welcome to my very first ever vlog, a reading vlog specifically. I'm doing this for a few reasons. The first being is that I want to share more about my reading with other people because I feel like I post little updates here and there, but like I don't know, I just want to share something with y'all. And two, I just want to be more comfortable making videos here on YouTube. And right now I'm just using my phone. I am a photographer, so I do have all like the necessary equipment to make it better. But for now, we're just sticking with like what I'm most comfortable with, especially for vlogging, which is just my phone right now. So we'll make our way there. So let's talk about the books that I'm currently reading. The first book I'm currently reading is The Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. I am about 400 pages through and there's like 550 pages, so I'm almost done with this book. This is a very popular fantasy, witchy romance book. It's about this historian who accidentally discovers this ancient book. She is a witch, and then it soon is clear that everyone wants this book for different reasons, and they're all trying to get to her and use her. One of the people that tracks her down is a vampire named Matthew, and they quickly fall for each other. So far, things I love about this. I love the overall vibes and the atmosphere. Great. I'm here for it. It's like very addicting and very immersive. I also really love the world building. I think it's a very unique world that she has built because it's so rooted in history and science, which I really appreciate. And I know that she did a lot of research in order to get there. So definitely appreciate that. What I don't like about this book is the relationship. In fact, I really hate it. I think it's supposed to be something that people love and, you know, it's like a guilty pleasure and like, oh my gosh, so much steaminess, but I feel nothing. Like, I don't feel any chemistry between the two characters. I think the relationship is unhealthy. And I know some of that is because of the nature of witches and vampires to begin with, but I'm just not here for it. So I'm hopefully gonna finish this today. And then I'm also reading The Want Ad Killer by Anne Rule. I'm listening to that on audiobook, and something I always do is I always am reading like a physical book, either like an actual physical book or a book on my Kindle, as well as an audiobook. That's something that I discovered in 2020 has really worked for me. Usually an audiobook, I'm listening to nonfiction just because I just like how it reads better than fiction in audiobook form. Because it's kind of just like listening to a podcast, and I love true crime. So I am listening to The One Eyed Killer right now. I'm about 50% of the way through that. I am enjoying it. I mean, Anne Rule is the master of the craft of true crime, and I just love how she balances telling the story of the murderer as well as the story of all the victims as well. She has a perfect balance of that. So those are my reading plans for this weekend / today. I have a few other things I want to do today. It's the beginning of the year, so a lot of publications have opened up for open submissions, so I might submit some short stories and poetry today. It's also my best friend's birthday this week, and kind of working on a little secret project, so I'm gonna work on that. Oh, it also snowed outside last night, if you can see. It's gorgeous. So River and I might go play out in the snow. This is River. She's my best friend. I'm super happy to say that I've been feeling super productive today. I cleaned the apartment, we went on a walk, played in some snow, and I finished A Discovery of Witches. So this was like my main goal today, and I did it already, so that's fantastic. So I'm feeling the same way now about this book as I did when I first checked in with you. Loved the world, thought it was very impressive. Did not like any of the characters, did not connect with any of them. I felt like every single one of them, including the relationship in this book, was used as a plot device just to keep the plot moving. And so like none of the relationships were believable to me. They all felt forced. Same with the chemistry in this book between all the characters, both like romantic relationships and familiar relationships and friendships. There was like one friend, Hamish, that I liked. Other than that, bored. And part of that, again, I think they were all used for plot devices, and then the dialogue was just so stilted to me. So I have like conflicting feelings about this book. I am super, super happy I read it. I've been meaning to read it for a really long time, so I'm really grateful I have read it. Will I be continuing in the series? It's a great question that I've been asking myself all morning. And I just don't know, because there's 4 books, and they're all, you know, probably around the same length, so probably almost, you know, 600, 700 pages. I don't know if I'm ready for that kind of commitment for a book I thought was okay. Ow. As I was cleaning my apartment today, I was able to listen to a little bit more of the audiobook, The Want-Ad Killer. Still enjoying it. It's also really going into survivor stories, which I always find fascinating, so that's been a good time. And now I'm gonna film something, and then I don't know, I have to decide on kind of my next physical read here. We'll see. Maybe you can help me out. You can't help me out because I'm going to post this and I've already decided, but even just talking about it out loud, it helps, so I'll be back for that. Hey, so little update. I was able to submit some pieces of writing to different publications. We'll see how that goes, fingers crossed. I worked on a project, and then I also listened up until 80% of the way through The Want-Ad Killer. Still very interesting. They're in the trial right now, and it's a lot of BS. It's really interesting to think about insanity and using insanity as a defensive strategy in court. And yeah, it's very frustrating. But I'm going to pick up a new book. I think I'm going to start reading Grown by Tiffany Jackson. This is a book that received a lot of praise last year. It was on a bunch of people's best of 2020 lists. It's really, I don't want to say inspired, but a lot of the same things involving the R. Kelly story are presented in this book. So I'm expecting it to be obviously very hard hitting, but really important. So I'm excited to dive on in. Happy Sunday morning. Sorry I didn't update you last night. We ended up taking down all of our Christmas decorations, which makes me sad, and I feel like our apartment is totally naked now. We do still have our tree up because I can't say goodbye yet, but I do have a few reading updates to tell you about. I ended up finishing The Want-Ad Killer this morning, and I thought it was really interesting. It kind of covered a few interesting topics that I find particularly intriguing, especially in true crime and the justice system. The first one being that the detectives knew who the killer was from the very beginning. However, there was not enough evidence to arrest him for years and years. And so a number of murders later, multiple rapes, brutal rapes later, they were finally able to arrest him and bring him to trial. But very frustrating to be like, we know exactly who it is, but we just can't find a single piece of tangible evidence. And then it was interesting, they went into the trial and the defense went with the insanity plea. And I mean, it was total bullshit. I have no doubt in my mind that this man was mentally ill, did need mental health help, that he just never received. But the insanity plea that he kind of pleaded was that he knew what he was doing was illegal, But he didn't think it was wrong because God was telling him to do it. And this man had never been like religious in his life and was putting on a show, and it was very frustrating to learn about because, again, I do believe that this man was mentally ill. Later on, they talk about him with the possibility of having multiple personalities, which is another topic I find very, very intriguing. And I personally do believe in rehabilitation over incarceration as a general rule in our society. But yeah, so it's very interesting. Highly recommend if you're into true crime. And then I also started reading Grown yesterday, and the beginning of it, the opening scene, was not what I was expecting. It was so well written, and I just could not put this book down, so I flew through the first 150 pages of it, and I already know that it's going to be a favorite. It's already going to be 5-star, which is so exciting. Topics surrounding manipulation and abuse, and it's very interesting. I love her best friend so much, and it's really interesting because this is a book about a famous artist who's taking advantage of this young 17-year-old, brainwashing her, grooming her, and kind of, you know, tricking her into being in an abusive relationship. And it's interesting because the artist in this book is 28, she's 17. And it's interesting because her best friend, it's a good mirror to the abusive relationship, because her best friend is also 17 and is dating a 21-year-old, but they have been together since she was 14, he was 17. And it's a healthy relationship. So it's really interesting, kind of mirror two different scenarios here. I can't wait to finish it. This morning, I have a few things to do. I'm going to be editing some photos. I think I'll probably put YouTube on in the background while I do that. And then I'm going to start editing this baby. And then I'm going to vacuum, which my apartment is tiny, but my dog is hairy, so it takes a while. And then we'll kind of see where the day takes us. And hopefully I'll do some reading too. Update time. So I made it halfway through Grown, and wow, this book is heavy, it's powerful, it's masterfully written. Yeah, it's gonna be one of my all-time favorites of like the year, and it's January like 3rd. So I also started a new audiobook, The End of Policing. And if you're interested in this book, I know that the publisher Verso is having like 60% off all their titles right now. And I know this is on there. And so far, I'm not very far into it. I'm like 5% in. It is looking at the ideas and arguments for police reform in America and saying how those reformations won't actually help and how we actually need to defund the police. Because I mean, what happens is that it doesn't matter if individuals go through racial bias training. It does not matter if you have more diverse people on your police team, because the system that they're working under is racist and the policies are racist and the rules and everything is racist and set up. So it doesn't even matter what individuals do. Excited to dig more into this. And I think I'm gonna end the vlog here. It's like 3 p.m. on Sunday. I'll probably read a little more, but the rest of the day I'm like just doing chores and going grocery shopping, so not a lot to do. And if I end it now, I can post it soon. So I think that's what I'll do. Let me know what you thought of my first vlog. That's it. I hope you have a great week. Bye.